I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jesse. And
this is the Reimagine Success podcast.
We're a husband and wife team who want to make a difference.
Keeping up with the Joneses can be exhausting, and we can often lose sight of what we are accomplishing.
We're here to reimagine success and to celebrate the steps it takes us to get there.
Big or small, we want to showcase success stories that will inspire, motivate, and help propel you towards greatness in your own life.
So come reimagine success with us, and let's go on this journey together.
This week's episode brought to you by Deadly Crimson, a published comic book series picked up by Creative Global Entertainment. It's a compelling and thrilling action story with comedic elements similar to Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. This story keeps you gripping the edge of your seat while retaining an emotional center. Deadly Crimson is an action-adventure story about a scientist turned assassin who must rescue her kidnapped daughter despite the most criminal masterminds against her. Find out more at www.deadlycrimson.com, Instagram and Facebook at Deadly Crimson. Email crimsonisdeadly@gmail.com. Welcome back to another edition of Reimagine Success.
What's up, everybody? This has been such a great week so far, and just lots going on this week.
Oh, yeah. This week has been such a journey for Jesse and I. We have been doing a lot of meditation and going within ourselves and just doing a deep dive as far as where we want to be and our journey and who we want to become. Wouldn't you say, Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have talked about that quite a bit in a recent recording we did that's going to be on our Patreon page for all of our patrons. So if you want that extra content, hearing Melissa and I talk about things that are in our lives and what we're talking about, make sure you go over to patreon.com/creativeglobal and sign up to be a patron today.
Yes. Now we are going to do that constantly. So every single week, we're going to give you bonus footage, bonus episodes, even go live, do question and answers. So please make sure you head over to our Patreon. We would love to have you join there. And we will be doing all kinds of behind the scenes every single week.
Yeah, not to mention we've got some behind the scenes of Deadly Crimson, some extra content from my music. So lots of good stuff coming your way. So make sure you head over there and sign up.
And I have some sneak peek pictures from me on The Walking Dead, which that episode just aired.
Yeah, we were watching it last night, actually. And we saw Melissa there. Just briefly, hopefully the next scene she'll be in will actually be a little bit more, but it was just really exciting to see her on such a huge show.
Yeah, and so I will post behind the scenes content on our Patreon account.
All right, so today we've got a fantastic guest, somebody that we love and has just become a great friend in our lives through things that through my music I was able to connect with this guy, and it's just become not just a business partnership, but a friendship with both him and his
also
wife.
Family.
Yeah, they're family now.
They're family.
Today we've got Eddie Whittingham, and Eddie has worked as an employee benefits advisor for nearly 15 years, assisting medium-sized employers with marketing servicing their employee benefits program. But over the past 15 months, he also owns and manages a tap room in Simpsonville, South Carolina, called the Clock Taproom and Billiards. And so I met Eddie by happenstance. I was playing at a venue called A Slice of Brooklyn Pizzeria, where he was having a business meeting about opening this tap room. And they just him and all his wife and all their friends happened to be there having this meeting. And I was playing, and all of a sudden they started being really interested in my playing. And then after the show, we all hung out for like 30 minutes, just goofing off and carrying on and having a good time. And so that's how Eddie and I met. And so Eddie, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
It's great to have you here. I'm so excited that you're on with us today.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. Now I, of course, met you through Jesse. He started playing at the tap room, and the vibe and the energy in your bar is just amazing. I love the feel of it. I love what you've done with the space. I love that you've put your own creative outlook. And if you guys have not, of course, seen his page or been to the bar, please head out. We'll give you all the social media links. So that way you can see his pictures and see what kind of bar he has created.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, we take a lot of pride in what we've created, and I can tell you, so far so good. It's been a little over a year, and all the reviews have been great. All the feedback's been great. The city of Simpsonville, which is right outside of Greenville, South Carolina, has been very supportive and very happy to have another location to go enjoy and partake and enjoy some craft brews.
yeah, it's definitely my favorite spot to go for a bar. And the fact that I'm driving back and forth from Atlanta to Simpsonville pretty frequently to play there is a testament to how great of a place it is and how great the people are.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, so we just want to dive into it. Now, Eddie, can you tell the listeners your story? Where did you come from? How did you get to be where you are today?
Well, I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. Actually, I was living in Miami, Florida for about 28 years. Loved it down there. And that's where my family's from. That's where my roots were from. And then I met my girlfriend at the time. And we decided, hey, let's go on a vacation. About 6 months into our relationship, and my mother-in-law tells me, hey, let's go up to North Carolina. And not to sound ignorant or anything, but when you live in Miami, you feel like you're in a different part of the planet.
Yes, that's right.
I thought North and South Carolina were just one big Carolina. I didn't know there was a North and a South. So I said, sure, let's go on vacation. And long story short, get engaged during the trip. And then I was briefly surprised that my mother-in-law said, hey, the reason we're up here is not only to enjoy a vacation, but we're also looking to potentially move. And I go, okay, well, good for you guys. That's not for me. So let's fast forward to about 4 visits to the Greenville area. And I said, I told my girlfriend at the time, and now my wife, I said, listen, I'm not sure if this is the location for us. I'm not sure if maybe this is makes the most sense at this part of our life, but let's give it a shot. Let's give it a chance. And since we're moving into more of a parenting, family, marriage lifestyle versus the fist pumping Miami lifestyle that we were accustomed to, it was time to turn the page and look at it from a different lens. And 15 years later, we both, have great jobs. We have 2 amazing kids, nice house, great things, an amazing community to raise our family in. So looking back 15 years ago, we're very, very grateful that we made the decision to make the jump. Since then, as Jesse mentioned a few minutes ago, I was a mortgage broker back in Miami for about 9 years or so. When I made the jump to South Carolina from Florida, the housing market and the mortgage industry just collapsed. So being able to transfer that knowledge and that expertise from Miami to South Carolina just didn't work out. It was not the time to get into that industry up here. Plus, I didn't have the network that I had built down in Florida up in South Carolina. So starting from scratch was going to be twice as hard. So I landed the first job that I could take, and led an investment firm here in the area, a call center for an investment firm here in the area that sold luxury real estate, and did that for about 4 or 5 months. And then I was tapped on the shoulder by a local recruiter that said, hey, we need someone that's bilingual and someone that can sell. And I looked at her and I said, well, I'm bilingual and I can sell, but what are we talking about here? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I checked those 2 boxes, but what are we selling? So she said, hey, I'm not sure if you've ever entertained the idea before, but would you be open to selling insurance? And I said, well, I know I need it for my car and my home, but aside from that, I don't even know how to spell insurance. So they basically said, listen, we'll teach you everything you need to know. Just bring the attitude, bring your skill set, bring your personality, and we'll take care of the rest. So I literally sat at the end of a conference room with zero knowledge of insurance, no license at the time. I was studying to get my license. And, by the way, you need to set up appointments. You're going to get into the health insurance industry. You need to learn all this and generate a book of business like that. So, you start taking that one step at a time, and eventually, made a few appointments, got a few at-bats, got my license and became sales leader. And before you know it, an opportunity became available at the company I was working with, where my predecessor had retired, and they actually tapped me on the shoulder again and said, hey, Eddie, you've been with us for about 7 years now. We want to give you the opportunity to lead an office. I said, holy cow,
Wow.
mid to late 30s leading a $2.4 million, operation. Thought I was on top of the world. So different things, transpired. during my career, during my time there. I eventually ended up leaving the firm and ended up joining the company I'm with right now. Been there for about 4 years or so, and everything's been going great. Have great clients, amazing book of business, great services. But there was always that one little, and I don't even know what the terminology would be, but there was always that one little, I guess you not would say dream, but in my mind, I always had a fantasy. Hey, I would love to own a tap room or a tiki bar, or some sort of something, but it was always close to the beach. I'm a beach bum, so I always went back to being by a body of water. So I told my wife, let's go out with my best friend and his wife, and we had a few drinks here in downtown Greenville, and we're just spitballing. I mean, totally spitballing. And the topic came up where Greenville, which, Jesse, you know what Greenville's all about. It's a gorgeous city.
Yeah.
It's growing leaps and bounds. It's in a corridor. I mean, really almost at a halfway point between Atlanta, where you live, and Charlotte. So it's booming. But at the time, 2007, 2008, 2009, Greenville didn't look what it looks like right now. And by the same token, we live in Simpsonville, which is about 15 to 20 minutes outside of downtown Greenville. And we said, why don't we do something in our city or in our community that would pop and bring some of that Miami flair, bring some of that, just bring some life to it. There weren't that many taproom options. There weren't that many, bar options. Definitely nowhere for you to shoot pool that offers the environment that we offer. So I just said, you know what, guys, after a few too many IPAs, I said, let's go outside. Let me grab a sheet of paper and start taking some notes. And we just started spitballing some bar names. We started spitballing some ideas. We started saying, all right, you're going to handle this responsibility. I'm going to handle that. Again, absolutely no clue whatsoever how the hell to run a tap room. And before you know it, about a year went by, and we had quite a few pitfalls. We had all of our sites set on a specific location. That location did not come to fruition after almost a year. And we had to make a tough decision to go in a different direction. And a good friend of mine that was part of the equation decided, hey, listen, at this time, I think I'm going to, bow out, which it was very stressful, was very emotional. It was a total roller coaster ride, because one moment you're on top of the world and you thought, here we go, we're going to chase our dreams. And then 2 weeks later, you would hit rock bottom. So we both, in good terms, we just said, hey, it's probably best we go in a different direction.
And how many years ago was this?
This was January of 2019 is when we started. And when we finally hit that wall where we lost out on that opportunity, where we had our sights set on, it was November 4th of 2019. So almost a year.
Yeah.
So this is like years in the making, though. So, because you said like 7 years ago, you started like initially talking about this idea?
No, that was about the end of 18.
Okay.
Beginning of 19.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, when that fell apart, he decided, hey, I'm going to go in a different direction, which is fine. I totally understood. And we just started kissing every frog in downtown Simpsonville. I mean, every location that was available, any property that was for sale, any little nook and cranny that we can look at. And a gentleman by the name of Cosimo, he's a good friend of mine. He was the one that pretty much said, hey, listen, you might want to take a look at this space that's available here. And I said, I don't know about that space. I'm going to keep looking. And I found my way back to that space, the space that you've been playing at. And I said, let me take a look. Doesn't hurt to look. And when I reviewed all of the items that I needed in my mind to make this place look the way it needed to look, the landlord said, okay. All the boxes were checked off. He said, no problem. And I looked at him. I said, that was easy. The rent was great. The space was great. It was going to make it look the way that we wanted it to look. And, a lot of hard work, a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears went into it. But yeah, we were open, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and the location's fantastic. For those of you that aren't familiar with Simpsonville, South Carolina, where the Clock Tower is located is this great little square that's got like this cute little ice cream shop. It's got lots of local restaurants and businesses right there, and just
shops and stores.
The reason it's called Clock Tower is because there's a giant clock tower. It's like a staple in Simpsonville, and it's the best little downtown part of that area, and you just happen to land the perfect location in my opinion.
And there's gazebos and cute little photo ops, and of course the Clock Tower has amazing photo ops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
we were very, very passionate about where we're located. one thing that, even though my heart belongs to South Florida, I was born and raised there. Simpsonville is now home. I really wanted to give back to the local community. Wanted to honor the clock tower and the history that brings to the city. So very, very honored to be part of the community. Very honored to be a staple in downtown Simpsonville, and the city's only growing. I mean, there's a lot of cool new businesses that are coming to the area. So if you're ever in Simpsonville, stop by and say hello.
Yeah, it's definitely a booming new city that's coming up. Like, because Greenville got really crowded, so everybody's starting to go to the outskirts cities, and that's where Simpsonville lies. And it's almost as crowded as Greenville's. What you said that you had this dream about being a business owner and having this bar. What was the initial thing that made you dream that dream? Like, were you just out at bars like, man, I just wish I could do this one day? Or like, what was that looking like in your life?
Well, it was a combination of a lot of things. The first one, obviously, as I said earlier, when you have 6 or 7, 8% IPAs, you feel like you can conquer the world. So that one day, I guess what sparked the whole idea was the fact that, you're kind of just talking openly. And I was with a couple of great friends of mine that were very supportive and said, hey, and our wives said, push, go for it. We were very good friends. We were both into the beer industry, very, very passionate about that. So that was something that I think helps tremendously is enjoying the industry, enjoying a product, whatever you're going to dive into. You have to like it. You have to, enjoy it. So that was the first thing that I guess was important for us. And then secondly, I've always wanted to be my own boss. I think everyone, is in that same boat to some level. Some of them might not have the wherewithal to be able to take that leap of faith. But I think at some point everyone says, hey, I don't want to have to answer to someone or I don't know what the proper verbiage would be without upsetting a few people here, but I guess you can say, you want to kind of be on your own and independent and create something special. So that's kind of where it took off.
Yeah. So with this, you were working a day job, or you're still working a day job rather, and now you're doing the clock tower at night. How has this changed your everyday life? Because clearly you're a million times busier now. So what's that look like in your life every day?
A billion with a B as in boy. Billion. No, it's been challenging. As a matter of fact, I just had a customer of ours ask me the other day, how do you do it? And I said, well, physically, my body's tired. But I will tell you, every time that I enter the tap room when it's empty and I just have a time, literally the first 5 seconds that I go through that front door, it's a breath of fresh air. It reminds me, wow, look what you've accomplished, with your family, your friends, the support that we've received. And then obviously at night, when it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, like you've been there playing and you look around the whole space and everyone's having a great time and, enjoying their drinks and enjoying their time there. They feel safe. It's a vibrant crowd. That's what fuels you. But as far as everything else, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, I have a book of business. I have clients that depend on me, that expect me to be there, answer calls to make sure that their account is serviced and marketed accordingly. So, you have those pressures. Then you also have the pressures and demands that go with owning a business. I mean, whether it's a tap room or you own a pet store or you're a veterinarian, at the end of the day, there are demands that are there and you have to meet those demands in a timely fashion, so, but it's a situation that I enjoy. We've been thriving in. We've been making it work. I have a very supportive wife that's been helping me a lot behind the scenes. Whether it's with the kids or helping with the business outside of the four walls. So I've been very blessed, very, very blessed, and very happy that we are where we are right now.
And I know you say that your wife works closely with you, and I love your wife. She is amazing. And I know she works closely with you. And how has this affected your relationship with her? And how do you work on your work-life balance to be able to have time with the kids and be able to have time with your wife and also do your day job, to the fullest and keep your clients happy, and then also keep this tap room available, because you are the heart and soul of this place. So how do you work your work-life balance?
We're so it's It's not easy, but you when something's important, you make it work. You find ways to make it work. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the hell I do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We've adjusted our schedules to work around the tap room. We used to travel a lot more, and before we opened our tap room, we used to go on 2, 3, 4 trips a year. And I let her know. I said, hey, for the next couple of years, things are going to be a little different. And she was very supportive. Her family's very supportive. My family has been supportive. I will tell you, we have our opportunity sometimes to hang out on the couch and just veg out for a few hours and just watch TVs, catch up on shows, sneak that in whenever we can. I also coach my son's baseball team. For me, that's an actual outlet. That's a stress reliever, believe it or not. Go out there and coach the little guys and spend that quality time with my son. I get a chance to watch my daughter and my son go in karate a few hours a week. So, you squeeze it in whenever you can, but when it's important to you, you always find a way.
Yeah, that's right. That is so true. I love that statement because Jesse and I are the same way. We have so many things that are going on every single day. Not only, do we do this podcast, but we also have a day job. I'm working on a comic book series. Jesse's also constantly working on his music, playing shows. There's so many avenues that we're doing constantly that you have to make time not only for your creative outlets and your money makers to make money, but you also have to have time for your relationships. And we have kids, so we also have to make time for the kids. So it's a very hard work to life balance, but you said it best. When you want something, you will make it happen. And that is the motto of life. If you want something, you will do it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
I feel like that's going to be our quote from this one.
Yeah, I love that so much.
So one of my favorite things is, I've played there. Gosh, I don't even know how many times now, a bunch of times. And most of the times when I play there, I see a lot of the same people at the bar. It kind of gives me a Cheers vibe where you walk in and it's like, hey,
everybody knows your name.
Yeah. And so what I think is great is that as a business owner, you've been able to create a place where people want to be regulars. And with these regulars, I'm sure you get to meet a lot of super interesting people. So have you been able to develop some pretty close relationships with some of your patrons just by them coming in all the time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone, as I said earlier, everyone that's come in has been very positive, has pulled me aside and said, hey, thank you for opening a business like this here in the area, or, hey, we enjoy having something like this in the area. I mean, all the feedback has been positive. And to your point, yes, I mean, I've developed, and my wife has also developed some great friendships from the tap room. We have folks that visit 2, 3, 4 times a week, and they're friends. We have a great relationship. When I do have some free time, usually on Sundays, we'll get together and hang out and grab a bite to eat or grab a few drinks. So the opportunities and the friendships and the relationships that have come from owning Clock Tower Taproom have been phenomenal.
Now, the Clock Tower, it's open Monday through Saturday? Is it closed on Sundays?
We're open Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And depending if we have a special event or a private event, we may open on a Sunday or a Monday, but for right now, it's Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay, great. So at least you get that Sunday and that Monday where you get to have a little peace and
decompress,
a little enjoyment, and
sleep.
have a little sleep. Big thing, sleep. So it's always tough figuring out what your niche is in a business when you're launching it or when you're creating this idea in your head. And I know that the tap room, it's amazing because not only do you have all of these craft beers, you have beers on tap, you also have a creative space where people can play pool, they can play darts, they can sit around and chat if they want to. There's
Jenga.
Yeah, there's a back room and it has Jenga and games, and there's this place that you've created that's a space that I feel like is well-rounded for a lot of, patrons that come into your bar. Now, what was that like, the creative process at the very beginning? Did you say, okay, this is the niche I want to go to? I know you mentioned that, Miami played a big part into it and you wanted a creative and fun space. But what is your niche that you feel like you want to go into? And what was your success and failures in creating that niche?
Well, from a decor perspective, I have to hand that one to my wife. She had a vision on the color scheme and kind of some of the things that we have, I guess you could say set up for the upfit.
Mm-hmm.
But the general consensus was we wanted to have a place that tailored, or I'm sorry, not tailored, catered to a variety of different personalities. I do get that question quite a bit where someone will say, well, I want to come to your space, but is it more for 20-year-olds? Is it more for 60-year-olds? And I said, guys, we're like an eclectic bunch.
Yes.
If you want to go to the back room and hang out and just like you said, play some board games, maybe a little Jenga, and not be close to the music or all the action, got a quiet space for you. You want to go shoot some pool and not, and I hate to say this, but not have cigarette smell and all that, to deter you. You've got that for you. You want to come in and watch some sports. You've got that, afforded to you. So you want to watch live music or a live DJ or sing some karaoke. So we're trying to make sure that everyone feels included, that that every night of the week you have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
We are very, very prideful, with our open mic nights. We have karaoke nights. We have bingo nights, amateur billiard nights, and we have a bunch of cool events that come up, Latin dance parties for those that are in the Latin community that want to come out and dance their Latin music. So yeah. Oh yeah. So we're trying to make sure that everyone feels, warm welcome and that they have something that they can do while enjoying our space.
Yeah. So with that, when you're testing out all these things, some things are going to succeed and some things are just going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
But not just in events and ideas, but just along the way, there's struggles, there's failures. What have been some of the major struggles and failures that you faced when opening this bar?
Oof. Wow. How much time do we have? No, I mean, I can't pinpoint a major failure, but just to give you an idea, hypothetically speaking, let's just say that, in my mind, I feel that a specific beer would be a phenomenal beer to offer. And we tap that beer and all of a sudden, a couple weeks go by and no one buys it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out why is it that beer isn't selling or why folks aren't really gravitating towards it. That's just to give you an idea of kind of the stuff that we go through. It doesn't happen very often, but that's some of the stuff that you have to kind of be mindful of the fact that, hey, Eddie, this is not Eddie's bar. This is not Eddie's fridge. This is not, Eddie's taste. You have to be mindful of the fact that you have a variety of different individuals that are coming in there to consume, alcoholic beverages, and you have to tailor your menu and tailor your style to what appeases the masses, not just what you yourself enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I've been real curious about as far as struggles go is you opened this tap room right at the cusp of COVID, and what was it like having a brand new business, everything shutting down, and trying to stay afloat in a time when the world was falling apart?
Well, the good news and bad news, and then I have even more bad news that I'm going to share with you. I don't even know if you're aware of this.
Oh no!
But the good news was, obviously COVID was not as new as it was towards the beginning. It wasn't as new as it was in February of 2020. So when we were doing our upfit, it was about September, October. Obviously we're elbow deep in construction, trying to get this place off the ground. So by the time we opened in December, there was still that fear. There was still the unknown, but it wasn't that initial shock like it was in February, March, April, May, when the entire country had shut down. There were quite a few people that were still kind of hesitant to want to come out and visit. We had a great grand opening weekend. We had great support, but looking at our crowds now versus what I thought was a great night back then, yeah, it was about half of what we expect now on a Friday or Saturday night. The other bad news was just as we opened up, I would say about 6 days after we have our grand opening, we had an unfortunate fire with our neighbor next door. So imagine you put all your blood, sweat, tears, effort, get this place looking, fantastic. And unfortunately, we had a little mishap next door, and they had a fire and shut us down for a little over a month. So talk about a kick in the cantaloupes. But it was something we had to overcome. It was unfortunate. We're glad that the damage, to us wasn't worse, but we're also glad that nobody was hurt because it was a pretty significant fire and it impacted our neighbors significantly and also our other neighboring businesses. So, but starting mid-January of 2021, we hit the ground running and haven't looked back since.
So what was the even worse bad news?
That fire.
That fire was
okay.
the bad news.
Okay. I was bracing myself for something.
COVID didn't. No. COVID was bad. Wearing a mask wasn't all that fun, and people were a little scared about coming out and visiting and being in public. But the fire definitely led us back, just because we had all this momentum going, and we really wanted to kick things off. And but it was unfortunate. But you know what? Everything worked out just fine when the timing was right.
Well, of course, failures and struggles and everything that we go through on a daily basis is our launching point for making, everything so much better. So now turning that around, what is your successes that you've had recently? And we love to share this with our guests because we are reimagining your success. So we want to showcase your successes and we want you to always celebrate them. So even the small successes, the large successes, what are some recent things that you've had in your life that you want to share and that you want to celebrate and you want us to celebrate with you?
Well, I can tell you from a Clock Tower Taproom perspective, celebrating our first year being open last December 4th was a huge milestone. Considering, like Jesse just mentioned, we opened during COVID. We had the unfortunate fire. We had a couple mishaps, during the year here and there. Obviously staffing is we're very blessed with the individuals we have working for us right now, but it took some time to find those folks. So from the small successes, like finding quality teammates, to milestones like celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and then also having some of our spectacular record-breaking nights, over the past, I would say 60 to 90 days. Like I said, my wife and I, despite all the hard work and how tired we are at times, we literally pinch ourselves because we're like, how in the world did we end up in this situation? And we read articles, we read reviews on Google. We're, very happy when we see the smiles on everyone's faces. So to me, those are the successes. If someone comes in and says they had a great time, that replenishes me completely. I mean, it makes me feel amazing. So I'm, very happy with where we are. I think we're just scratching the surface on the direction that we can maybe take this business to. But at the end of the day, one more, I guess you could say, success is, we've been giving back, and just 4 or 5 days from now, I guess it is this upcoming Saturday. We have another nonprofit fundraising event for breast cancer awareness. Last year we had a great one for cancer, and it was a spectacular turnout. We're able to donate some money to the Greenville Cancer Society. This Saturday we're donating some funds also to Casting for Recovery. So it's not just about us doing well. It's not about providing a fun space for our community, but also giving back when we can.
I love that. And everyone that is a human should be doing that. We get to give. And that's what life is. It's a circle. We get it and we give it. And whatever form of energy that is that you are turning around and giving, that is just, you should just feel so grateful and so blessed that you have a space that you can turn around, you can get, and you can have an amazing space for your guests and your patrons to be able, to have a joyous time, but then also be able to give back and give back to your community. It'll be better. Eddie, I feel like for you, things will be so much bigger and better, and you'll not only give back to your region, and you'll give back to the state, you'll give back to the nation, you'll give back to the world. And that's where we're headed. That's where we're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, this has been so great, and we have absolutely loved having you on and talking about your journey to where you are today. Why don't you real quick tell all of our listeners where they can find you, connect with you, where they can find out more about the tap room, and just some contact information for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're located in downtown Simpsonville, 120 South Main Street, Suite B in Simpsonville, South Carolina. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow Clock Tower Taproom SVL, so Sam Victor Larry, and that's on Instagram and Facebook. That way you can keep track of all of our cool events and what we have coming up. And we also have been very successful in renting our space for private parties, whether it's little kids' birthday parties where we've had live animals to celebrating a 75-year wedding anniversary, and everything in between. So, definitely give us a call and let us know how we can make your special event even more special. And then we'd love to see you. Love to pour a drink for you. Love to share some stories with you. And the one thing I'll say to both of you and to the listeners, this is not easy. And at times it can be very scary, especially in the beginning when you're saying, hey, I'm going to put up X amount of dollars that you may or may not have, and then take a leap of faith. The one thing I'll tell you is do it. A lot of times the fear of not having the funds or the fear of it not succeeding can kind of hold you back. But I'm here to tell you, just do it. At the end of the day, you don't want any regrets. You don't want to look back and say, man, I wish I would have. So that's my advice to you. Just jump in, elbow deep, waist deep. just do it.
Just get it. I love it. And I actually have one more question for you, Eddie.
Sure.
Do you feel like that within the foreseeable future that taproom will be your only position? Do you feel like that this will be transpired to just being an owner of the taproom?
Yeah, I mean, I think if things develop in the direction that we'd like for them to develop, and we can achieve some of the goals that we have set forth for us, that would be the next step. I've actually even had a few folks ask, "Hey, could you set up one of these in our city?" So you never know what the future might. Hey, you never know what the future might hold, but yes, to answer your question, that would be the ultimate goal.
Yep, that's amazing. So we want to bring you back when you are full-time franchise owner of the Clock Tower in every major city. That's the goal. That's what we're putting out there. That's what we're manifesting for you.
Sounds good. Do a little before and after.
Absolutely.
Well, you've just been amazing, Eddie, and thank you so much. And thank you for Allie for giving us your time too.
Absolutely. I'll let her know she's downstairs working.
Yeah, keep her working while you're up here doing the fun stuff.
We
love Allie, and we love you, Eddie.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you having us. Thanks again, guys. And like you mentioned before, we met as acquaintances at Slice of Brooklyn, and we consider you guys like family. So anytime you're in Simpsonville, you've got a home you can stay in.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you
so
guys.
Much.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much for being on.
All right. Bye.
Have a great guys. Take care.
All right. Another great interview.
I am ready to open another business.
Right? Eddie just goes to show that it doesn't matter, what you've got going in your life. If you have a dream, you have to pursue it. You have to.
Yeah. And the great thing that he said is do not have regrets. If you are thinking about starting something, opening a business, opening a business online, whatever you're thinking about doing, do it. Because the only thing that will happen is maybe you'll fail, but failure only equals success because you're going to learn from that and you're going to grow. And there is honestly no failures.
Right. And the worst thing you can do is get to the end of your life with regrets and say, I wish I had done this. So make sure that you live every day with zero regrets. And one thing that I can guarantee that you'll regret is not becoming one of our patrons, because you're missing out on some unbelievable extra content. So make sure you head over to patreon.com/creativeglobal and sign up there so you can get that good extra BOCO.
That is correct. And with that, this is a Creative Global Entertainment production. Did you get motivated? Do you feel inspired?
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses anymore, and don't forget to celebrate your successes every single day. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Follow us at Facebook and Instagram at Reimagine Success Pod. Email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and let us know what your successes are.
New episodes every Thursday at reimaginesuccesspod.com.
So let's change our mindsets and reimagine success.